Now, in my last video, I talked about She-Hulk Episode 1 and the Marvel Legends that we have got on pre-order and could get in a potential Marvel Legends wave. And oh look, there's me as a variant as She-Hulk. And talking of variants, I just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, a great multiverse-based film. And let's talk about that in this video and action figures we could get from Everything Everywhere All at Once on Tac Tac Toys with Film. So in essence, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a story around Evelyn, played by Michelle Yeoh, who unlocks the powers of the multiverse. And we'll get into the story more. What it reminded me, obviously, by comparison, in essence, is Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, because they are both multiverse films. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon for the martial arts aspects, and probably The Matrix for some of the ideas, and maybe even Dragon Ball Z, because that often talks about different universes. So there was a lot of kind of influences I felt that were incorporated into Everything Everywhere all at Once. You may disagree with me, but let's get into it all. So in essence, the story of Everything Everywhere All at Once starts off fairly normally. We follow Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn, who is the foundation of a small family and owner of a laundromat, who is on her way with her husband and their elderly father to ask their auditors to give them more time on the eve of Chinese New Year. Evelyn's husband, Waymond, is the first to experience multiversal phenomena, and from there the story gets wilder and wilder, and the viewer genuinely would be captivated by every moment of it. So as mentioned, essentially Evelyn's husband Waymond is the first to be in essence possessed by a version of himself from another universe known as the Alphaverse. Alpha Waymond then warns Evelyn about a danger which is close to her, and Evelyn is skeptical at first until she experiences multiversal phenomena firsthand. And the real appeal of this film is that it takes what's seemingly like essentially ordinary people in an ordinary situation and makes them extraordinary in the most imaginative of ways. There's so much to unpack in the film, and it could have easily been overwhelming in the nature and scope of the story, but it works and it takes you along for the wild ride. The film just knows it's bonkers and it just runs with it in a completely entertaining and well thought out way. And it feels like everyone involved in the film is having a great time being over the top and larger than life, and it totally comes through when the viewer is watching it. A film like Back to the Future really has fun with the whole time travelling idea, and Everything Everywhere All at Once really has fun with the whole multiverse idea. Quick little spoiler alert for a plot point piece I'm going to give now, but this shows you how bonkers the film is. There's a universe where people are made of rocks, and another universe where people have hot dogs for fingers. And you know, that's silly and it shouldn't work, but it does in this film. It just adds to the enjoyment and the silliness and entertainment of this film. In that way, Everything Everywhere All at Once reminded me of Rick and Morty and Loki, this series on Disney Plus, for its indie sci-fi multiverse antics. And it really does feel like everyone involved in the film is having a great time being over the top and larger than life, and it totally comes through when the viewer's watching it. And fun little fact, Waymond, or the actor who plays Waymond, is actually Short Round from the Indiana Jones series. Perhaps where Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was probably more restricted and careful in its presentation of the multiverse, Everything Everywhere All at Once can be just no holds barred in its approach, because these are characters that are not tied down to any pre-existing media, presumably. I may need to double check that. And so the writers can just go for it, and nothing is off the table in this storytelling here. It's really, really engaging filmmaking, and it's one that's definitely worth repeat viewing. So Everything Everywhere All at Once gets 5 out of 5 stars from Tac Tac Toys with Film. And now let's talk action figures. Personally, what I found interesting about the characters is that they are generally normal looking people whom by their actions and situations they get set up in become more extraordinary. Evelyn, Waymond, Joy and Gong Gong and Jobu Tabaki, the universe-jumping villain in the film, would all make great additions to a wave. I'd even like a Raccoony action figure, which pays homage to the Ratatouille movie. So what did you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once? Have you seen it? Did you enjoy it? If you did see it, I'm sure you probably did. And has this review made you want to see it if you haven't watched it? And would you be tempted by some action figures of the film? I personally think NECA could give us some great action figures for us collectors out there. And who knows, maybe there's a universe out there where Everything All at Once action figures exist. But until they make contact with us, enjoy those flicks and figs.